Tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, everyone? We are back. We are back. If you just saw our intro, it is crazy, this episode.
Yes.
Oh my God. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being and sticking with us and waiting on us.
I know, we're a little late. Sorry, guys.
We had a little technical difficulty with seeing the end of the show, so we had to just fix that and make sure that we caught all the hot, juicy moments so that we could really give our opinions on how we felt about this episode. Oh my God. So thank you for tuning in. As always, I have my lovely host, Ebone, Chatman.
Yes. Hello. How are you, Lauren?
I am excellent. This is a good day, you know? Another 911
you guys,
episode.
It's Lauren's birthday, too, so shout out to Lauren. Al, happy birthday, girlfriend.
Thank you, babe.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. But what did you think about the show?
Okay, so look. We have been, last week, unfortunately, Portia is not with us today, but she is here in spirit.
Yes.
We're keeping her here. And, last week we had a lot of discussion dealing with whether or not we thought that this version of 911 lives up to the original 911.
Right.
Is Lone Star making the cut? And some people, Portia, felt like it wasn't really there. But I think this episode is getting us closer and closer and closer to our love of the original 911. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, no, I love this episode. Even like last week when we focused all on Paul and it was all about his dating life, what he was going through, what was happening with that. It was like we really got a great development of his character and a little bit more background on him. And then this episode, we're focused on Mateo / Proby, passing the test, being a dreamer. So it was like really great to see those storylines come to life. I felt really connected. I felt more connected to the characters than just like it flying around, like storyline flying around. It was like we're focused. It felt more like hyper focused, and I like that.
Absolutely. I do believe that we're starting to get grounded into this series. They're taking a little bit more time to really introduce us to the backstories of the characters and really allowing for us to follow their story, what's happening inside of the firehouse and then what's happening outside. And each character is starting to get a little bit more attention in the episodes, which is something that we said that we wanted more.
We wanted. And, even though there was, I think maybe episode 4 or whatever, when Marjan, she was in the mosque and they like kicked her out and blah, 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 right? So it's like we did focus a little bit on that, but I think there was also other storylines going on within that episode. So it was hard to like stay focused on like one topic.
Right.
So now that we're just like one person, I love it.
Yeah, I can agree. Like that storyline kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit. And I think that's because we were getting introduced to so many characters at once and really trying to establish.
They're all new.
Exactly. Everybody's new and really getting a feel for the team. This episode, I feel like we really got a chance to see Mateo a little bit more and then see the dynamic between Mateo and Marjan. And then we also got a chance to see Owen in his true element and really seeing him thrive as a captain and now watching him go through a couple of challenges of competition.
Right. Yes.
So, but before we really dive into everything that we're going to talk about, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to all of our fans who tuned in with us. Last week, we had our guest star, Brian. And there were several people that left comments in the chat. We love y'all to death. We really appreciate the love that y'all give. So I just want to say thank you for Dawn Forever, Jamie, Not Your Biz, Ronnie Media, I think it was Paige, and then Miss Boots 1021. And there were a couple other people as well, but I just took a moment just to jot down a couple names. We'll continue to shout people out because we appreciate you and we appreciate your love for following us and actually tuning in, especially when we have guest stars and leaving feedback. I know a lot of people are really excited to see Brian here. We were excited to have him, and that was just a beautiful moment. So that is that.
Yes. So please continue to like, subscribe, and comment below. We love to hear you guys' comments, obviously, as Lauren just shouted you guys out. Please continue to do that. If you're not able to watch us as, the TV talk of the ESPN of TV talk, you can always listen to us on Spotify and on iTunes, and make sure you give us that 5-star rating.
5 stars. Yes. So this week, there weren't too many storylines happening. So we're really only focusing on 2 storylines this week. One is Owen and his new friend, Billy.
Ugh. Right.
Okay. We'll get to that one in a moment.
Yes.
And then the other one is watching Mateo and Marjan have this really interesting team building dynamic and supporting each other, and then reeling in the rest of the firehouse team as well. But before we get to that one, we're going to just go ahead and dive in. Ebone, how do you feel about Billy? Because we'll get back to my points, but...
Yeah. No, you know what? I think in the beginning, I kind of was like, okay, Judd kind of, the whole reason why they even got introduced was because Judd was like, oh, I'm going to poker night. And no one wanted to go. And then, of course, Owens is like, I'll step up to the plate. I'll go. Right. So I was like, okay, cool. A little bonding time. And then they finally left it out like, oh, by the way, the guy that's coming hates you. Right. For taking over his spot, basically. So at first I was like, this is going to be awkward. And then Owens was kind of giving it to him at the poker table. And I was like, I didn't realize Owen wanted the smoke. He wanted all the business. I didn't realize that's how he was. And so then when he finally wins and the guy's like, I like him, I was like, okay, great. Tension's over. This could actually be a friendship. So I was thinking this was going to be wonderful. What did you think?
Okay, so first of all, Owen is a New Yorker. So taking the challenge and having someone, try to one-up you, that is just a New Yorker vibe of really bring it.
Right,
So I'm excited to see that element of him still exist. And that's something that I really appreciated out of this whole entire episode. I constantly was thinking to myself, he really owns his space. He's taking Billy around the firehouse and talking about, the cabinets and the floor and the concrete and just being his true, authentic self. And that's one of the things that I really do enjoy about this episode. The writers have a very creative way and authentic way of really showcasing people as people and letting them own their own space. And I feel like we really saw that with Captain this go around. We were able to see him hold his own ground. He was not going to be moved by some rednecks that they said, or just people roughing him up, or having this whole Southern hospitality vibe where he felt like he needed to mold into or concede to their tradition. But he was like, look, this is what I bring to the table.
Right.
And I can hold my own at this table with the cards.
Yeah, I love that. I love that moment. And so I just thought it was very interesting how that continued to play out throughout the episode. So, I thought they were bonding. I don't know if anybody else thought that. I know you were kind of skeptical the whole time.
I was skeptical the whole time because they set it up in the beginning. And this was just me following what they were, laying down for us.
Okay. You were eating those breadcrumbs.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
I left them on the table. I didn't know what was going on. Okay.
It's only because Judd was like, I don't know. And then later on, when we thought that they were going to be friends, Michelle came in and she was like, he's a little slick. He's very competitive. You should watch your back type of deal. So when she came back in for the kind of the second or third warning, however you want to take Judd's response, because you kind of have Judd's response and then you have Grace's response. And those are two warnings that this guy is no good.
Right.
And then you have Michelle, who I would count as the third person.
Okay, yeah.
So I was just a little defensive and a little protective over Owen, because I'm there's no one has said anything nice about this guy in the sense of being kind and playing fair in the sandbox. Nobody has said anything.
Lauren. Very, very true. Very true. Yeah, no, I thought that was so. Just to round up this little story here, just the fact that he kind of turned him in, that was so shady. I mean, I feel like Owens is just now owning his space of having lung cancer and kind of being a little bit more open about it. He's been very closed off, didn't want to tell his son, didn't want to tell anyone. So now that he's kind of being more open about it, and for that to be used against him, which is exactly the reason why he didn't want to say anything to begin with, I think it's very interesting how they tied that together. But Billy really is coming for his spot. And I love Owen because he was like, oh, you want my spot? Come get it. I'm not about to hand it. Right. I'm not about to hand this to you, lung cancer or not. I want all the smoke, and I'm going to do the test, the physical with extra 75 pounds. Don't play with me. Okay?
Okay.
So I was like, okay, Owen, yes. I just hope he doesn't try to kill himself because, like I said, I've always said, he always likes to do too much.
Yes. And this was a moment where he definitely was doing too much. He did not need to add the extra 75 pounds.
He didn't need to do all that. He really didn't. And he was like, yep, add the extra 75. I was like, oh, Lord.
That was a little ego and a little bit of pride.
Well, I hope he's going to start working out and start training real hard then, because I'm going to need him to pass this test. Because Billy, but I mean, it would be interesting show if Billy kind of took his spot, though, wouldn't you think? Like,
don't even speak it.
I'm just saying it would be interesting. It would be interesting, like how that all would go down. I love Owen, but honestly, I don't know if I could see him doing this whole physical, lung cancer and all, throwing up and whatnot. Like a physical, like, I don't know. I mean, your mom's a police officer. Like, I'm sure you know what that physical is like. Look, it's complicated. It's difficult. It's heavy. It's grueling. It's intense. It's
one of those things. He's out of that phase. That's the first thing. Like, he's way above that age for having to like do these type of tests, these physical tests. He's just, like the captain said, even the young guys can't do it with 75 pounds. So good luck to you. The only thing that I think that might work in his favor is just like how Marjan was comparing the Miami department to the Texas department here. I think that possibly New York trains a little harder than Texas. And maybe that's why he feels so confident in that arena.
Possibly. I mean, it probably could be a different test, but it's like, could be harder in different areas. Like, you just don't know. And I feel like it's such a risky moment for him to kind of like take on this challenge,
right? Knowing
that he's really not doing that well and kind of
under
under
the fact
weather.
That he said that he passed out a couple of days ago, just about.
Right. So I'm worried, you guys. I'm really, really worried. Please, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is a smart idea for Owen to take on this huge test and intense responsibility? Like, what do you guys think?
Please chat with us. Leave your thoughts in the comments, because we don't think it's a good idea.
I think it's a terrible idea. I don't know if he's going to pass it.
I feel like he has something up his sleeve, though, because obviously he knows his body and he knows that he's getting weaker. But for him to be so confident, I feel like
he's getting weaker and just took on a challenge where he needs to be stronger.
Yeah.
So I'm upset about it.
There's something up his sleeve. It was the look on his face. Like, there's something up his sleeve.
But the only thing that, I'm going to say this, the only thing that could possibly be working for him is the fact that, like, when your adrenaline kicks in, when you're determined, sometimes all your ailments kind of go out the window until after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll pass out after you're done with, like, trying to prove your point. Because I know when I get mad, I see black, I see red, I don't see anything, and it's just, like, proving you wrong. So.
Yeah, and he has that edge, that competition on it. So.
Yes.
We shall see. But here's the deal. This is my thought. I'm hoping that Billy is not going to stick around. I'm hoping that he's only going to be here for maybe like 4 episodes tops, and then he just disappears.
That's a lot of episodes.
Well, here's the deal. We have to see the competition. We have to see, them kind of go back and forth. But I don't really want him to be a reoccurring role that keeps coming back, because I just don't like him as a character. Yeah. Do you see how like he slithered his way in, and then he came for the tour, and then he decided to go play golf. He did a lot of friend, like, intimate activities.
Wasn't that what they say?
Twisted.
Keep your enemies closer. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
This is true.
He was working smart. He was working smarter, not harder.
God, I know. God.
I know. It's crazy.
I'm hoping that he'll leave very soon, though. And this goes with our title, Friends Like These. Obviously, I don't want a friend like this. Ebone, how do you feel about friends like this?
For sure. Got to kick them to the curb. We don't got time for that. It's 2020, okay? We don't got time for snake gates and people out here being wild. We ain't got time for all that. Nope.
Craziness. Well, we'll get to predictions about that a little later. But our next point from this episode, we got a chance to really, really see Mateo this episode. Like, we really haven't seen too much about him. We hear him, with the jokes for being the newbie and being a probie and all of that type of stuff. And it's like one of these things that at the very top of the season, from episode 1, they immediately established that he is a hard worker and he has the passion for the job, but he doesn't really test well. So now we finally get a chance to dive into his story. And one of the things that I really liked about it was that Owen accepts him for who he is, which is one of the things that I said just a moment ago. Every character owns their own space. There's no like wish-washy, maybe if I be like this, or maybe if I do this, then I can get this objective or this type of result. No. He owns his own space. And we were able to see all of the struggles of a learning disability, all of the struggles of test anxiety. And what were your thoughts about it?
You know, I thought it was amazing because honestly, we always hear about people who have like learning disabilities, you know, ADHD, or people who can't focus, or dyslexia, like Mateo has. And I never, recording the book? That was like the smartest thing ever. And I love that they had the whole team helping. Yes. That was wonderful. So to see like A, the teamwork, B, they weren't about to let him fail. At first, Paul was like, I'm reading my new book. I ain't got time for this. But then after they were like, well, he's like about to wash out. Like either he passes this or he's not ever going to be a firefighter. Like he can't, be with us anymore. They're like, all right, bet. Like put the book down. How are we going to fix this? How are we going to help? So I was loving the teamwork. I love the fact that they recorded it. And, I have a lot of test anxiety. I don't know if, like, people, I feel like maybe it's a super common thing. Like, you think you know everything, and then you get to the test, and it
just goes blank.
You're like, what the heck is this? I didn't read this in the book. Like, I don't remember this, story. I don't remember that. What's happening? Or I don't remember this formula, right? So I could totally relate to the whole test anxiety thing. It's real.
It really is. And I think it's because... I don't know, maybe it's just America, but I feel like there's so much pressure, just like how Mateo was talking about in this episode. There's so much pressure for you to do well. Like, you have to get it right. And if you don't get it right, then the negative result is going to be X, Y, or Z.
Right.
And I feel like they did an excellent job of showcasing that, but I feel like there's so many people that can relate. And maybe it may not be as big as, like, getting deported, as he talked about, but perhaps it's like the pressure from your parents, or maybe it's the pressure of just like not getting the job that you want, or flunking out of college, or not being able to get into the college that you want. So I feel like highlighting this is something that we don't get a chance to see a lot of, especially in a more mature show.
Yeah.
Maybe with some of the younger shows that gear towards college students and high schoolers, you see this a lot as a topic, but as adults, to really see you figure out, what does this mean? How do we handle it? What are the challenges in the workplace, in our personal life? Because he even talks about like his friends, his roommates, they're no good. They're actually a problem because he can't focus around them and he can't study with them. So to see like the team become friends that are positive influences for his life, and to really help him be able to showcase where he needs help and how they can help.
Right.
That's something that I just don't think that we see on television.
Yeah, and I think it was wonderful that they even brought in like the Dreamers Act, right? He was like, I'm a dreamer, and if I don't pass this, like I'm basically going to get deported. And the thing is, like, that's such a huge issue. Like, immigration, deportation, like that's a huge issue, and also being a part of the program, right? Because it's like you get accepted into this act, but then there's obstacles and things that you have to do to continue to stay in this country. Like even though you are a part of the Dreamer Act, that doesn't mean that you're just like guaranteed to stay
that
here.
you're
like
just
you
here.
Still have to, work to prove yourself, basically,
and hit milestones and actually be performing in your field, and contributing to that actual job or arena. And it's just,
so it is a whole lot of pressure. And so I'm happy that they were able to like bring that up. I feel like some like the things that they bring up in the show, period, I think are things that get washed over or looked over, or like you hear about them, but like it doesn't affect you personally. So like you're not concerned about it or reading about it or educating yourself on it.
Absolutely.
So now that it's like in a show, it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, now I do. Now it makes you want to like go back and like research like the Dreamer Act,
Correct.
Or like,
and this is a different perspective, because when we're thinking about immigration, we're thinking about the wall. We're thinking about a lot of other things that are in the news right now. So to finally showcase another element of this, just like you said,
a more
encourage
personal,
people to learn.
A more personal element to this issue.
Yeah, I agree. This was beautiful to see because, Mateo hasn't had that much recognition at this point. So to see him actually develop and cultivate a relationship with the team as a whole.
Finally, right?
Right?
Yeah.
They're really starting to accept him, I think. And we even see Marjan actually call him by his name at the end of the episode.
I know. After we pass at the 92%, bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I think we're seeing the team like really develop even more as family, and the firehouse is really starting to cultivate and have each other's back. It was beautiful for him to come out of the test, and he's like, wait a minute, it's y'all's day off. Like, what are y'all doing here? And it's like, nah, we're here for you.
Yeah, a good team right there. That's what I call a good team.
An excellent team. Yeah, I agree. So that's going to lead us into like, that's pretty much everything that happened in this episode. Very, very short to the point. I feel like we're really leaning into diving in more on one character or two characters instead of like how we were a little bit all over the place with like 4 and 5 different storylines trying to introduce everyone. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen and who's next for next week.
Same.
Awesome. So that's going to lead us to our major call for the for this episode.
Yeah, so let's get into our special segment.
911, what's your emergency?
911, what's your emergency?
Boom. So Lauren and I are going to pick, or we talked about, and we're going to pick the top 911 call. They were all really bloody this episode. I almost couldn't watch any of them. Like, they had me all, like, dying.
Yes.
But the one that we're going to pick was, like, the first 911 call when there's an Uber driver. She gets distracted, and she hits the back of the truck and kind of is, like, being dragged for, like, a mile or so.
Yeah.
Lauren, what were your thoughts?
I was like, first of all, now this is the second time. I don't know. I feel like the writers really like talking about rideshare because now this is like the 3rd episode where there's a rideshare incident that's gone totally left.
Right.
So my initial thought was like, oh my God. Here you're thinking that you're safe in a ride share.
Right.
And now you're trapped underneath a 18-wheeler being drugged for miles. And my thoughts was like, okay, 911 Lone Star is finally stepping up their game of like really raising the stakes and making things really bizarre and out there, interesting, a little gruesome to watch, hard, very, very hard to watch. I think we both closed our eyes.
Definitely. I mean, the thing was, it was kind of like, you distracted drivers, like that, again, bringing attention to another issue. But also, I thought that the driver was going to be dead. The way that truck looked like it was completely in the front seat. It didn't look like she was alive at all. Like, I thought her head was going to be off. Like, I did not expect her to be alive, first of all.
I was a little shocked because I don't know if you have seen a lot of the other 911 episodes from the original one, but there's been some times where pieces of metal have come through the windshield or have impaled the person to the seat or something of that nature.
Right.
So I thought that when they came around to her, we were going to see some type of object stuck in her.
Yeah.
So
same.
You know, they kind of caught me off guard with that, with just her being pinned down. Granted, being pinned down is major, but at the same time, it was very interesting to highlight their friendship. And that was something where TNT haven't seen each other. How cute was that? It was
right,
like,
that was super cute. Hadn't seen each other, and then now we're both about to die. Like, it was wild. And I thought it was crazy too that they did like that person-to-person blood transfusion.
Yes,
thing. I've never seen that. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I'm like, I wonder how real these scenarios are. Like, are these things that could actually happen? Like, are these things like, okay, the last 911 call where the guy was choking on his friend's ashes?
Yes.
And he took the hot rag and put it on his chest and he coughed it up. Like, is that real?
Is that a thing?
Like, should I be taking notes so if I'm ever in a situation like this, I would know what to do? Like, I just need to know. I need to know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense, you know, like the pipes get pretty warm and if the cloth is already wet.
But what does the hot cloth do to the fact that you're choking? Like, what does that do?
I think it opens up your chest.
Oh, okay.
I think, don't quote me. I have no medical
We are
experience.
not doctors. Do not try these things at home, you guys.
We're just over here discussing our thoughts on what we thought happened in the episode.
Right.
But I think it opens up your chest because I feel like the whole issue was that his airways and everything was, you know, blocked.
Right.
So opening it up, it was strange.
That's
I
interesting.
feel like that was what that was supposed to do. Kind of like when you have a cold and you're supposed to put a hot rag on your chest. Did you ever do that? Okay, that might be old school.
Girl.
Or very Southern. Which is probably why this was shown
right
in 911 Lone Star.
That is so funny.
Oh my God. But yeah, that episode, this 911 call was crazy. I feel like this was the perfect 911 call to really showcase friendships and how sometimes you do something that you feel like is super minute to the relationship, but someone holds that grudge for years down the road. And it was just weird to watch, which was the huge distraction in that moment. And for it to almost cost them both of their lives.
So true. All the 911 calls had something to do with friends, and I thought that actually, boom, friends like these.
You know what? And that was one of the notes and discussions that we had last week as to how the titles weren't really necessarily going with.
Apparently, they're listening to us. Like, what's happening? What's going on? I love this. That we're connecting. We're all connected here.
Everything is starting to really settle in. I think that's what it is.
Well, Lauren, do you have any predictions for next week?
Let's see. Billy needs to leave, so I'm gonna predict that he's gonna hopefully make his exit by the end of.
You are so not here for Billy at all.
By the end of next episode, I don't know why, but I feel like Captain Owen has some type of trick up his sleeve. He felt pretty confident in it, and I'm praying to God that he does have a trick, because I don't want to watch him struggle through that test.
Girl, me either. I do not want to watch him struggle, because I'm going to be like this the whole episode next week. My prediction is I'm going to say that Owens, I did say that I didn't think he was going to make it through, but I'm going to predict, because the show always has a happy ending, so I'm going to say that he gets through the test, but there's going to be some health repercussions after the fact.
Ooh, that's a great prediction.
Like, he's going to be hospitalized.
Oh, no, I don't want to see that.
I think so.
Oh, my God. You see how we're so attached to this show? It's absolutely crazy. You know what? Chat with us. Leave your predictions. We would love to see them. We read all of your comments. We read them this week. We're shouting you out. Please be involved. But until next time.
Yes.
You can catch me on Instagram and Twitter at Lauren B. Mosley. That's Mosley. And Ebone, where can they catch you?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Ebone Chatman 12.
All right. Out. Have a great week, y'all.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.